Hi, my name is Hannah, and I've applied for the strategy analyst position at Dixio. Here's my three-slide deck on how Dixio can enter the Indonesian market. Having worked in the digital finance space back in 2019, I saw how the fintechs were sort of starting out in Indonesia. And fast forward to today, it has grown so much, it's really thrived. There are e-wallets, multi-finance lending, cryptocurrency and stock apps, and more. But while the customer facing end of the apps and solutions have really grown, I think the infrastructure side of this, or even like currency exchange, local, transfers abroad, are still just starting in Indonesia. And this is where Dixio can come in. So, first, let's start with the ideal clients or the primary targets. There are three that I have noted. The first is digital banks, and these are normally backed by traditional banks. And this is where Dixio can offer their messaging as a service as a core business growth opportunity for these banks. For example, Bank Jago, Genius, Blue Bear, BCA, most of them are doing just local transfers, so cross-border transactions would be an opportunity for them. Secondly is the investing platforms. These are also known as the wealth fintechs. And so here, customers can invest in local stocks, US stocks, and cryptocurrencies. Some examples are Bibit, Stockbit, Peluang Ajaib, and Pintu. And for now, you can transfer from normally from the local banks, but I know a lot of people have savings in, for example, the U.S. banks and banks from outside. So cross-border transactions would also be applicable here. And lastly is the international, regional, and state-owned banks, where infrastructure upgrades could help business growth. For example, in BCA and BRI, they are already international banks, so they do a lot of wire transfers. But like a deep dive into their infrastructure, maybe they could use a more cost efficient solution like Dixio. And Bank Ntb is a state-owned bank, so they are mostly serving the mid to lower income in a certain region of Indonesia, and so their structures or their infrastructure might have like legacy systems and could use upgrades. The total addressable market, there are two main categories, the fintechs and the commercial banks. So out of the 334 fintechs in 2022, most of them are lending and payment companies, some wealth and other companies. So I think Dixio can definitely go for the maybe start with the wealth and payment companies. And then for the banks, there are 92 of them in 2023, mostly private national banks and regional government banks. Now let's talk about the existing players and positioning. So the main competitors that I've researched are, so there's a local player called Finet, which has been around for quite a while, and they help with the financial messaging in Indonesia. And then there are international players, big tech companies like IBM and Oracle. They've made solutions uh, that help cross-border transactions and connect to Swift and other payment rails. There's also like the Swift specialists listed on the Swift website. So Newgen, Vensis, and Bottomline, they're all operating in Indonesia. And while these are just a handful of players in Indonesia, there's still opportunity for Dixio to stand out. First, Dixio, I noticed that you guys have a faster setup. There's like no need for the banks or fintechs to do any local setup, so that's really good. Secondly, you guys say that you're very cost efficient because you're just striving to make services more affordable. Third is a seamless connection, solutions to Swift and other payment rails with easy ongoing. This ties into the premium support because you guys guarantee export response within an hour. On-demand training and business expertise is always available. So in short, Dixio can really just give businesses peace of mind, and while Dixio handles all the payments infrastructure. And so, how do we enter and win in the Indonesian market? This is the 30-day plan that I've come up with, divided it into three main categories: sales, legal, and engineering. So, in weeks 1 and 2 in the sales department, I would determine the top 10 businesses that have a fitting use case for Dixio. And this is either in the fintech space or the bank space. And then finding and creating the relationship with the key contacts is really important, because in Indonesia in general, relationships are quite key, and you might be able to talk to just 1 or 2 people in the company, or you might have to go around 10, 20 people to really get them like hooked on your service. And then lastly, for sales is to just attend any events hosted by fintech associations like AFTech. There's like quite a few coming up. So yeah, those are always nice to network around. And then weeks 3 and 4 for the sales team, that's where they can create localized pitch decks according to each business use case, and then maybe even have case studies. And then also offers pilot deals, so they can just like hook those first few customers. In the legal department, this is quite important because there are several laws and requirements set by Bank of Indonesia and OJK, which is the financial authority in Indonesia. I know that when I was working in the lending platform, we had to acquire a small bank to be able to have like a P2P license, or else just going through BI and OJK to obtain that license was kind of a hassle. So yeah, so assessing the scope and requirements, and then in weeks 3 to 4 to obtain these licenses if needed. And in the engineering department, weeks 1 and 2 would be familiarizing with local payment rails, and translating the documentation or dashboard or any support tools into Indonesian. Although a lot of engineers are able to speak English, I think for maybe the sales team, it could be helpful to just know the terms in Indonesian. And then just going back, the payment rails. Right now, there's BuyFast, which is the one where you can do local transfers real time. Real time is also a local transfer. Curious is more of a payment for retails and merchants where you just scan a QR code. Wire transfers, that's the main way we transfer cross borders. And for engineering in weeks 3 to 4, setting up the sandbox or testing environment once we've established like a few businesses would be good to prepare. And then, of course, onboarding the pilot clients. And then beyond 30 days, I've listed a few things to just note. So having like a local sales and support team, or having someone that could also speak Indonesian, because as I said, although the engineering teams in Indonesia, they will document in English, but their day-to-day or partner programming will normally be in Indonesian or a mix of English and Indonesian. And then participating in key industry events, having newsletters for company updates, quarterly or bi-yearly physical follow-ups to maintain the relationship, and then just staying up to date with local regulations and ensure ongoing compliance. So if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. I'll have to admit that I had limited information on Dixio services and financial messaging as a service in general, but I was genuinely interested, and I kind of went into a like rabbit hole of research, from just Google, YouTube, asking old colleagues, and even ChatGPT. I hope that this was helpful, and it's really been helpful for me because I've surprisingly enjoyed it, and it's made me realize that um, researching about complex topics or unfamiliar terms or services is, and then translating that into an organized manner is something I want to do in the future. And so just thanks again for this opportunity, and I look forward to hearing back from you.